A very good morning, student. Let us begin our class for today. But today I like to begin my class with a simple message. Dear students, I really admire you all for practicing sound judgment and patience when we all are facing obstacles and restrictions. And we should and we can navigate through this period of crisis of COVID-19 together. Okay? So let us begin our discussion for model paper 1 English, right? So it will be better if you have the question paper in your hand, right? It will be a real help for you. So let us begin without wasting time. Students, as we find, there are certain instructions, that is few instructions are there which often I believe my students they miss, right? So don't miss out those instructions because this is really needed and it is obvious to apply. See the instruction, the first one is follow the prescribed limit while answering the question. You will have to follow the prescribed limit. Then what is prescribed by the board? That is, write the correct question number as it appears on the question paper. So it is really important. You will have to see, this is the first question. You can see 1, Roman 1, and under Roman 1 we have 12 questions. That is, each question carries 1 mark. Okay, so that is 1. And the third instruction, it says that 1 mark question attempted more than once will be awarded 0. Yes, if you are not very sure about that, if you are attempting more than once, don't take a chance. Please, you will have to write only once, right? And then for multiple choice question, choose the correct answer and you will have to rewrite it. Not only choosing the option will solve your purpose. Now, how to attempt? See students, I have written here, I have mentioned, you can see that is, Roman 1, okay? And I will show you Roman 1. And under that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? So in order, it is always preferable in order if you write all the answers. Then first question, Roman 1. Answer the following in a word or a phrase or a sentence. So you will have to answer in a word or a phrase or a sentence, right? See, one word that always gives precision. That means you are thorough, right, with the lesson. See, some question obviously it cannot be answered by one word. So in that case, you will have to go for a phrase, max to max for a sentence, not more than that. Okay, see, let us take the first question. According to the elephant, whose skin is harder in the gentleman of the jungle? So we know the answer, man's skin is harder, that the elephant has mentioned there. So you need not to write so elaborately because here we need precision, right, for Roman 1. So I have written man's and apostrophe n because man is singular, men is plural, so man's is M-A-N apostrophe S, you can see here. Second is, where do the children spend many an anxious hour in school, boy? So detail it is, so easily it is, you can recognize the answer, in school, right? Now you can ask me that in, is it inevitable, is it necessary to mention in? It is fine. If you write school, that will do. Then third is, what was the narrator doing to earn a living in Oromanisham? That is, here often I see that my students, they commit mistakes, right? he was not English lecturer, he was not teaching others the subject English, so it is entirely different. Perhaps you have seen. The thing is, here he was teaching the migrant laborer how to write addresses in English, right? Because English address, that was mandatory during that time. So the answer is teaching migrant laborers to write their addresses in English. Fine. Then next is name the school that fourth one, name the school that Babar Ali runs for the unprivileged children. And I repeat that you will have to read the question, because Babar Ali, right? One question can be framed like that: which school does Babar Ali attend? So that is Qasim Bajar. Okay, that is different. Okay, and here this is where Babar Ali, which one? Babar Ali is the founder of which school? So that answer will be entirely different. So this question's answer is Anand Shiksha Niketan. Okay, so Babar Ali is the founder of the school Anand Shiksha Niketan. Okay, and then next is who wouldn't flee shouting for a bed in If I Was a Tree? That is Mother Earth, right? So I told you, you need to be thorough with all the concept, otherwise it can be a little tough. By that time you write more. By that time, when answer is not known to you, you don't know it precisely, you keep on writing the unnecessary points, right? If you know the answer rightly, you can produce it rightly. Okay, then the next is the next question. I will go for question number 6. Question number 6 is, which is the sacred animal mentioned in If I Was a Tree? That is cow. Then next is, who was considered a lunatic in Watchman of the Lake? So we know that is Mara. Okay, so till here we find that only question number 3 requires to write more than one word, otherwise with one word suffice, right? Then next is question number 8. In Watchman of the Lake, the river Veda is the plaything of whom? So is the plaything here, the question number 8. Watchman of the Lake, the river Veda is the plaything of king, watchman or goddess. So it is goddess. C, then goddess. So it is always preferable, student, you mention the option and write the answer definitely. That means only mentioning C, that may not be liked by many evaluators. So it is better to be on the safer side. You write C, goddess, right? Then next is, how many children does the farmer's wife have? It is 4, right? You can see 4 children, right? I have written. I don't know whether the camera will cover all the sides of the board or not. Okay, but we are discussing. Then next is, how much did the old woman demand from the visitor? That is 50 paise. Don't forget to mention the unit. Then next is, what was Nicola and Jacopo's father? So Nicola and Jacopo's father, he was a widower, he was a singer, right? So all this you will have to write. And then in the last one is, in Oro Manusham, the people in the restaurant look like hungry wolves, tigers and lions. You can see in question paper, that is 3 options are there. So we will have to choose A, wolves, right? So we are done. Then draw a margin, and while you are writing, I always prefer that margin, right? And clearly one space in between. Okay, so it will give you a neat presentation. Got it? Fine. Now next, okay, and see student, one more thing, that is the time management. Here I think you will take not more than 7 minutes, right? So if we can complete in 5 minutes, if we know, if we have the thorough, all the information thoroughly, and then it won't take more than 5 minutes, 6 minutes, right? So whatever the time you save, you can utilize for the next question, that is from 13 to 22. It is the illustrated question. Here, Roman 2 question, you can see, answer any 8. First of all, which 8 you are writing, you will have to choose. Don't go haphazardly. You will have to be very selective because the time constraint, right? So you see, answer 8 of the following, choosing at least 2 from the poems in the paragraph of 80 to 100 words. And now 80 to 100 words, yes, obviously it is better if you can restrict yourself with the word limits. Yes, if it is more than 100, not more than 120, definitely. Okay, so how we should write? See student, for this I suggest we will begin with introduction. And introduction, it not to be much elaborate introduction that I need, but yes, just to show regards to the author and to the lesson. If you begin any answer very abruptly, it is it is not the condition that we made for for literature. Each and everything that has its own condition and its own characters and own features, you can say. So while we are writing the elaborate answer, we need to mention about the author or the dramatist or the short story writer or the poet. Okay, so the question begins with 13, that is, narrate the circumstances that lead to the dispute between the man and the elephant. Okay, so always you will have to mention about the story, right? Then the story, that means not the entire story is needed as per the need of the question. With the storyline, you will have to give the answer. See, here, Jomo Kenyatta, right? Jomo Kenyatta was the first elected president of Free Kenya, who was the frontline warrior of Mau Mau movement with Dedan and Itots. Dedan and Itots, they were the the final warrior who have participated in Mau Mau movement. Why I am mentioning Mau Mau movement? Because the 19th century European encroachment on African land was the first protest against this exploitation of European power was made by Mau Mau movement, right? And Mau Mau movement, the essence of Mau Mau movement is subtly has been brought to gentlemen of the jungle. So what are the needed points here? Jomo Kenyatta, you mentioned that the essence of Mau Mau movement is subtly being brought by Jomo Kenyatta in the story The Gentleman of the Jungle, right? So then we can value rightly the story. Fine. So here the man is the symbol of the exploited Africans and the animals, they are the symbols of European power. Then you come to the next, we will be going for the next paragraph. Next paragraph is the question, mainly we will have to be focused on. Narrate the circumstances that lead to dispute between the man and the elephant. So we can start like this, that is, a man had a thick friendship with an elephant. So in a torrential rain, the elephant came to the man asking for a shelter. The man was kind enough to give him shelter. The elephant first placed his trunk inside, then he pushed his head inside, then he placed his entire body inside, and not only that, but also he threw the man out of the house. The man was agitated, he was infuriated, and he started grumbling. And as the lion, king of the jungle, the lion heard his grumble, he came to the man asking for the reason. And the man politely intimated the reason, that his house has been encroached by the elephant. And this was the beginning of the dispute. The elephant immediately, pleaded for him that the man has the wrong notion, whereas the elephant, it is not the elephant, but the man has called him to protect his house, right? Because there was the heavy hurricane and the man was unable to protect his house, and this elephant, being a good friend of the man, he has come to protect his house. This dispute continued further as the lion promised the man that the right verdict should be given to him, and for that he has made a commission of inquiry. The members of the commission of inquiry were all animals, right? The man was, little upset. He was stressed to know that no one from his side has been chosen as the member of the commission, right? So this is the second step, that the dispute continued. And when for the final day, the court has summoned both of them, the elephant and the man, the elephant was chosen to plead for himself for the first, and the elephant said that he was the one who was being called to save the man's house from the heavy hurricane, and he entered inside because his purpose was to occupy the space inside economically, whereas the man has failed to do so. Whereas the man has something else to state on behalf of him, but the commission closed everything by saying that they have heard enough, right? And the verdict was given in favor of elephant. And then onwards, the man started suffering because he was given with the choice of a new site where he builds a new house, but that was being occupied by another jungle lord. So this is the cause that sparked the dispute between the man and the elephant. So this will be the body of your answer, and the last line will be the concluding line, which will relate us directly to the question. Fine. Let us go for the next question. The gentleman, next question is, the gentleman of the jungle is a critique on European superpowers and their laws. Yes, that I always say, that the same introduction you can say, and you can mention about Mau Mau movement, right? Which will be the points that I am telling you. The points will be definitely the Mau Mau movement, the Africans exploitation, and the European superpower, and the encroachment of the land, right? So the gentleman of the jungle is a critic of European superpower and their laws. So how will you begin, right? See the answer here. See, that is, I have already sent you the clues. See, European colonization and the expansion of their land, right? In this conception is retaining for decades and from the beginning of civilization, as we believe that there was a concept of crusading, right? Crusaders, in the name of religion and faith, they used to encroach the land. And after this is the system of colonization. So this is the colonization and the expansion of land. It is clearly exhibited with the expertise of writing by Jomo Kenyatta, because Jomo Kenyatta was one of the leader who has directly participated in Mau Mau movement, one movement that I have given the detail of that you will have to enter. That is European encroachment of land, okay, in 19th century, and the innocent African who couldn't understand the meaning of treaty clearly, they become gradually slave in the hand of European, right? And this situation is nicely being brought by Jomo Kenyatta in the story The Gentleman of the Jungle. Now, who is the correct gentleman, right? So ironically, this gentleman figures out the European. Got it? That is only they have proven their gentlemanship by their power, right? So you will have to write about Mau Mau movement, you will have to write about Dedan and Etorts, and then Jomo Kenyatta, and then that is after this exploitation, when there was a realization in the mind of Africans how the protest took place. Right, it was kind of a guerrilla warfare, and this protest, I told you that the Second World War, the soldiers participated in Second World War. They duly trained the African neophytes. Okay, they trained how to go for this fight in the Mau Mau movement. So it was a strategical warfare. I told you, strategical war, right? So this concept of strategical war that we can see in the beginning, the same, that the African encroachment of the land. Here we can see in the mode of elephant. Elephant symbolizes the African power, right? And how he came in a torrential rain, asking for help, asking for shelter. So the man who stands for African, he gives the shelter immediately without understanding the right intention of the elephant. The elephant took the undue advantage, and he encroached the land. That means he encroached the heart of the man. So it implies the same picture as the European. They encroached the land for their expansion, for the system of colonization, right? And here gradually, when the man realized at the end, as we move forward, you can see that there was many strategies that, in the name of court of law, in the name of law enforcement, it was a total farce, right? And gradually the man suffered, and when he reaches to the breaking point, he couldn't tolerate anymore. By that time, he fights back. How he fights back? He strategized a plan. He made a beautiful and a big house where he lured all the jungle lords, and they came, and for the penetration, for occupying their space, and they came. And when they were all landed inside the house, the man put fire to the hut and burnt it down to ashes, right? So this was the strategy. The same we can see in Mau Mau movement. It is symbolically being brought to the story. It is a political satire, and satire, in the societal, shortcomings, when the political imbalance, it is sophistically, a very decent way, it is being depicted by the author, right? So the same here we can see in the mode of political satire. This question, instead of a political satire, it is been thoroughly asked that The Gentleman of the Jungle is a critique of European superpower and their laws. Okay, So this is a criticism, that means satirically criticized by Jomo Kenyatta. Fine. So the last line will be that this is how through Gentlemen of the Jungle, Jomo Kenyatta has shown his expertise by satirically criticizing the European power. Okay. 15. Why is the little boy uninterested to go to school on summer morn? So, who is the author? Let us begin with here. William Blake. William Blake is one of the icon of Romantic era, and precisely his Song of Innocence and Song of Experience. These are the best collection ever, right? Song of Innocence and Song of Experience, right? So innocence and experience, almost all the time what we can see that in innocence, whatever that is, say I am giving one example, it is not, it doesn't need to write. The lamp is innocence, it symbolizes in innocence, and the tiger, T-Y-G-E-R, tiger, the vigorous mode of the tiger, it is in the Song of Experience, right? So the contrast mode, innocence, and on the reverse side it stands the Song of Experience. These two are the best collection of William Blake. Alright, here this is a poem that is, the schoolboy. It is collected from the Song of Innocence and the Song of Experience, right? See, this Song of the schoolboy, this poem, it has the collective imageries, what we call the pastoral imageries. Pastoral imageries means the images are chosen from the nature, like huntsman, like the nature, like the skylark, like the bird, like the cage, like all the seasons, right? You will find only the mention of the schoolboy, that is in the first stanza. Later on it is been presented by only usage of imageries, right, throughout the poem, right? So, and all the images are chosen from the nature. So these are pastoral imageries, right? So these are the few points which you can touch upon. Then directly we will go to the question. The question is, why the boy is uninterested to go to school? Here, student, we will see that a schoolboy, the schoolboy, when he wakes up in the morning and summer morn, then he finds his enjoyment, or he finds he likes to spend the day with the skylark singing on the branches. He likes to spend his day by listening to the huntsman horn. All these are objects where with whose assistance the boy finds his joy, right? But here comes the question of going to school, attending school. The boy doesn't like to go to school by losing the charm which is been associated with all the natural objects. But as a formal schooling and a formal system of schooling requires the regular attendance for the stipulated time, so he is being forced to attend school. He doesn't like to go to school because here spending time with all these natural objects brings the concept of freedom and independence, right? This child can exhibit his imagination, can ventilate his own imagination, whereas the formal schooling means the restriction. He's been forced to be inside the four-walled chamber, concrete chamber, and there he is being dictated by the crude and the authoritative norms of the teacher, that is marked as own eyes of a teacher. Right? So both are extremely a reverse condition. One gives him the choice of freedom. One, here the school means restriction. The school means the subjugation of the spirit. That is very, very important, student, because Song of Innocence, every concept that relates us, William Blake's Song of Innocence, it relates us with the subjugation of soul, the subjugation of spirit. So the school means subjugation of spirit, and while the association of natural objects like the skylark and the huntsman horn, it brings him the sense of freedom. So he doesn't like to go to school. Okay, that is, the boy is uninterested to lose his freedom by going to school.